I thought I was cursed. Until I found the letter hidden in my mother's Bible. Chapter 1. My name is Adeebi, and for as long as I can remember, misfortune followed me the way shadows follow a person on a bright afternoon. It was almost like something invisible had wrapped itself around my life, squeezing slowly, deliberately, refusing to let me breathe. I didn't know when it started exactly, but I do remember the first moment I truly felt something was wrong with me. I was 8 years old, standing outside our small bungalow in Umuahia after all the neighbors' children had gone home. They had been playing, shouting, throwing stones at a mango tree, laughing the way children do when life hasn't yet shown them its claws. I had joined them, hoping to blend in, hoping the strange wall between me and the world would fade for once. But the moment I climbed the mango tree, the branch snapped, not a small branch, not one that looked weak or tired, an unusually thick one that should have held 3 children without stress. It cracked like the heavens had commanded it to, and I fell, landing so hard my vision blurred. The children scattered, screaming, and one of the mothers who came running said, "This girl always attracts bad things." She didn't whisper it. She didn't hide it. She said it like it was a fact written in the sky. And from that day, the words followed me. In school, at church, even at home sometimes when my mother thought I wasn't listening. People said it was just talk, but talk becomes a story, and stories become a prophecy. And I grew up under that prophecy like a tree trying to bloom under a slab of concrete. By the time I turned 17, I had lost count of the accidents, embarrassments, and strange misfortunes that clung to me. Teachers lost my assignments, neighbors blamed me when their chickens went missing, rains drenched only me even when others ran under the same roof. Welcome to my page. Please follow, like and comment. My mother, who prayed over everything from boiling rice to sweeping the compound, began to pray even harder over me. She would wake in the middle of the night to sprinkle holy water on my door. I always pretended to be asleep when I heard her whisper my name, her voice trembling with the kind of fear a mother hides so her child won't break. She never said it out loud, but I knew what she was thinking. What everyone was thinking. Something was wrong with me. Deeply, spiritually wrong. But the older I became, the more determined I was to pretend I didn't care. I learned how to smile even when tears sat heavily behind my eyes. I forced myself to laugh with people who secretly avoided me. I learned how to walk confidently even when my shadow felt heavier than my body. But on the day my mother died, everything changed. She had been sick for months, though she kept telling me it was ordinary malaria. But mothers lie sometimes, not because they mean harm, but because truth can be heavier than their children's hearts can carry. I watched her shrink like a flame losing oxygen, her cheeks hollowing, her voice weakening, but her prayers never stopped. Even on her sickbed, she prayed for me with the same desperation of someone trying to hold back an ocean with bare hands. On her last night, she held my hand and whispered, "Adeebi, forgive me, everything will make sense soon." I didn't understand. I didn't ask. How do you ask questions when someone's breath is already fading? She passed away just before dawn, and my world collapsed silently, without warning. After her burial, people trooped into the house with bowls of jollof rice and meat pie, the kind meant to console the living, not honor the dead. I sat on the edge of the bed she once occupied, staring at the Bible on her pillow. It lay there gently, as if waiting for something. Or someone. I hadn't touched her things since the burial. I couldn't. Grief had a shape, a smell, a color. Hers smelled faintly like shea butter and peppermint oil. Touching anything she owned felt like disturbing her spirit. But that afternoon, something pushed me, something soft, something painful, something like a whisper. "Touch it, Ada." I picked up the Bible. Her handwriting danced across the margins, slanted, careful, almost timid. I ran my fingers across the worn cover, and as I opened it, a small folded sheet slipped out. It fluttered to the floor like a wounded bird. At first I ignored it, assuming it was a church note or one of those prayer points she wrote everywhere. But then I noticed my name written on it. My full name. Adeabi Nena Okeke. My heart beat staggered. I picked up the letter with shaking fingers. The paper felt old, as though it had been waiting inside that Bible for years, breathing, aging, gathering dust and secrets. I held it to my chest for a moment, because something in my spirit knew that whatever was inside that letter would change everything. Maybe for better. Maybe for worse. But definitely forever. I unfolded it. Slowly. Carefully. Almost fearfully. The handwriting wasn't my mother's. It was stronger, firmer, written by someone who wanted to be understood clearly, someone who believed their words carried weight. As my eyes scanned the first line, I felt a sharp sting in my chest. My daughter, Adeabi, if you are reading this, it means the truth can no longer be hidden. I blinked. My daughter. The letter wasn't from my mother. It was signed at the bottom, Namdi. My father. My father, who died before I was born. The father I knew only from pictures and stories. The father my mother rarely talked about in detail. The father I had always been told was a gentleman who loved me even before I arrived. Why would he write a letter to me? Why was it hidden in my mother's Bible? Why did she never give it to me? A cold wind passed through the room even though the windows were closed. My fingers trembled as I continued reading. There are things your mother may never find the strength to tell you. Things you must know to survive what is coming. Survive. I felt the air leave my lungs. I kept reading. From the moment you were conceived, forces beyond this world took an interest in your life. Not because you are cursed, but because you are chosen. Chosen. A sharp laugh escaped my throat but died quickly. Me. Chosen. The girl everyone called a magnet for misfortune. The girl who couldn't climb a mango tree without breaking a branch. The letter continued, your lineage carries a covenant older than this land. Some will fear you. Some will fight you. Some will try to silence you before you discover what you carry. I froze. My skin prickled. My heartbeat pounded like ancestral drums. And then the part that shattered something inside me, your mother has spent her life protecting you from a secret that was meant to be yours. Forgive her. I dropped the letter. My breath shook. My vision blurred. Protect me from what? What covenant? What forces? What truth? I picked up the letter again, desperate, confused, trembling. But the last line was the one that broke me completely. When the signs begin, do not run. Do not hide. Find the man named, but the name was missing. The ink had faded completely, leaving a blank space. I felt like screaming. Missing. Why now? Why this part? Why hide a letter for years only for the most important part to disappear? My mother must have known. She must have read it. She must have seen it. She must have kept it from me, maybe out of fear, maybe out of love, maybe out of guilt. But why? Thunder rumbled outside though the sky had been clear minutes before. My chest tightened. For the first time in my life, misfortune didn't feel random. It felt planned. Directed. Orchestrated. And if the letter was right, my entire life wasn't cursed, it was a battlefield I didn't even know I was fighting on. I pressed the letter to my chest, closed my eyes, and whispered into the silence of the room, Mama, what were you hiding from me? And as if in response, the light bulb flickered 3 times and went out. Thanks for watching. Follow for chapter 2. Like and comment your thoughts on this story.